Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, before we get started, I just want to know, how does everyone feel about the storyline so far? Now, for me, I'm coming in this, I would sit there and say a couple months, nearly a year. I think I started watching this like March or February. I have to sit there and check when I first started doing reviews on it. But, say a little over 5 months. Now I know some people have been watching the show a lot longer than 5 months. And, this whole story with psychics, and now we're doing dreams where people are sharing dreams. I mean, this is a little out there. Even for a soap opera, this is it's kind of out there, you know. I first started watching soap operas. I was sitting there and say One Life to Live was my first soap opera, and I can't remember. I think it was like year 2000 or 2001, somewhere along those lines. And so I've been watching General Hospital for 20 years, give or take. It took like some time off, but about 20 years. And I know that if they started just throwing in stuff where it was like we're doing psychic links and dreams, and I'd be like, are you kidding me? Really? This is what you got? I mean, listen, if I want to go far off world and stuff, I got Netflix for that. But then again, that's just me. Not to sit there and say this show like it's terrible or anything like that. I still think it's a good show, but like, and we're gonna start off with Ben and Claire. Ben and Sierra. So they both wake up, and they have the same dream. They're in each other's dreams. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Okay, sure. You know what? I've watched Port Charles before. They threw in vampires and angels. So, okay, sure. Whatever. Really? But you know what? Never mind. The point is, he wakes up, Claire comes over, and Ben is all like, well, I had a dream of Sierra, and she was in my dream, and I think she was dreaming the same thing about me, like we're, in each other's dreams, and, then he starts reciting stuff off of Shakespeare, and, at first, Claire's like, well, everyone's seen Shakespeare. The lines that he was reading from, like, there was stuff where it's like, not to sit there and say, guy, again, it's not, and to be fair, she kind of made it seem like, oh, well, guys, it almost made it seem like, well, you don't seem like the type of person that really knows Shakespeare like that. But, he started reciting lines that he didn't know that she knew, off the bat. So she was like, yeah, I do believe you. And at first, Ben is like, listen, I'm going to go to talk to Vincent. And Claire's like, it's a bad idea, because if he knows that you know that she's alive, then it's going to be a lot worse. So he talks her down, and he's like, hey, listen, she's like, hey, listen, let's talk to Susan. And at first she's like, no, let's not do that. I mean, she's crazy, she's loony or whatever. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure using the word crazy or loony or baddie is probably not good around Claire, because, she's kind of sensitive about that whole thing. So, Claire's like, listen, I'm going to go and talk to her, because last time we went, you was a little high-strung, and we don't want to scare her. Once she's on board, then we'll try again. I don't know. I mean, this whole story is just, Whatever. Now on the other side of town, you know, Sierra is a really interesting character. She's a very interesting character because she is a lot more resourceful and has done things that I just been like, oh, okay. Like when she was trying to get away from Vincent at one point, and she seemed like she knew how to handle herself physically. And she's definitely one of those type of people. It's like, yeah, she looks, you know, model. Okay, a little higher than a model, but like she looks pretty good. And you would sit there and think that, you know, alright, she doesn't know how to handle herself physically, or she doesn't know how to really sit there and think. And she can really, you know what I'm saying? Like, she could really make somebody underestimate her. And she is, you know, waking up and she's talking about her dream with, Rhodey. And Rhodey's like, oh, you know, it's Valentine's Day and I got a date, like, a real date. So I'm gonna go off and enjoy my real life while you know, you stay here in this dollhouse. Bye. And I'm sitting there thinking, bro, you got a date, and somehow he just conveniently left his cell phone. Now, okay, I am, I guess, what they consider a millennial. I do not go out, I do not go anywhere without my phone. And I mean damn near anywhere. But, you know, he's a little old school or whatever. Okay, fine. Not only does he... See, this is what I'm talking about. So not only does he leave a cell phone on... You know, he forgets his cell phone, but he leaves it so close, within almost arm reach. He walks off, and she goes in the bathroom. Now, apparently, she's, I guess, MacGyver's daughter or something. So she, you know, gets some wire or whatever, or a hanger or something like that, and she's able to, you know, hook it up to where she's able to get the chair, like a little food table or whatever, and she's able to pull it in a way where the cell phone just drops in her hand. I was like, wow, this chick is bad. Okay, Ben, you know what? Besides looks, I totally understand why you went for her. I mean, and she knows how to handle herself. She's smart. She looks good. Alright, bro, you got it. She somehow managed to... And I'm partly sitting there thinking, man, this is all just so convenient. But you know what? I guess it needs something to advance the plot. And she grabs her cell phone and she starts calling. And, you know, Ben is sitting there reading the Romeo and Juliet play, whatever. And it was something that Claire said as far as, like, when you get a sign, because it's, you know, unknown caller or whatever. Now, we all know when you see an unknown caller, it's usually scamming season, because it's always scamming season. By the way, since it's tax season, it's scamming season, and if somebody calls threatening to say, hey, you know, if you don't pay us this money, we're gonna send the cops there to your place, and we want to get paid in what's it now, iTunes gift cards or Google gift cards or whatever. Anyway, he looks at the phone. He's like, unknown caller. Then he looks at the book and he realizes, you know, like, it's something Clara said as far as, like, you know, if she calls you, you know, just listen out for the signs. And he was even saying to himself, he was like, you know, keep trying to reach me. Dude, she's trying to reach you. So he picks up the phone. He's like, you know, Sierra. Now, unless Rhodey is so fast and he's able to teleport inside that room, she's gonna talk. Of course, talking is probably gonna do no good because she doesn't know where she's at, but, you know, she gets to hear her voice, so there's that. And maybe the police can, you know, trace the phone call. Maybe. I don't know. So yeah, I think that's actually about it. Oh, and Claire sees, Charlie in the park. Now, Charlie... really don't feel like going to go get my water. Charlie, the thing about Charlie is that he would be a really interesting character, like as far as like a really interesting villain, if he didn't do the RAP yada yada yada. I don't think that he can be redeemed. There's no way that he can be redeemed. And before I get into a little bit, I'm having trouble. So, there's a very famous character. You don't even have to watch the soap opera to know. Luke Spencer. You know, the whole Luke and Laura wedding and everything. Even my dad knows about that. The whole Luke and Laura wedding. Here's the thing about Luke. And even another somewhat character named Todd Manning. You know what they have in common? R.A.P. yada yada yada. I guess in this day and age, to me, I'm just befuddled on how people sit there and say that they love this character. He's a great character. He was one of the best characters of all time. He also R.A.P.E. someone. And the daughter, Lulu Spencer, is a result of that. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I just don't understand how people sit there and say he's among the greatest characters of all time, and he did that. And also Todd Manning from One Life Left. So, with that being said, I don't even know where I was going with this, but I guess I was talking about redeeming and redemption and stuff like that, but, like, you know, Charlie's sitting there talking to Ava, and this guy, wow, is a real POS of a character. Just the lowest of the low of characters. I don't know if someone can actually pay me enough money to actually... Like, if I was on a roll for that, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. But, he's sitting there talking to Ava, and he's bragging. He's all like, oh, well, the London police, you know, they couldn't do anything, and I'm a free man, and I'm going to have a job. I still have my job, and I have Claire. And I'm like, first of all, this guy has got to be the most delusionist character I think I've ever seen. The fact that he actually thinks he's going to go back there on Monday morning and be like, cool, so could I give you a latte? I mean, you want me to get you a latte? You want me to file some papers? Or what do you want me to do? And still think that somehow, in his right mind, that he's actually going to be walking up in there. The guy must be out of his damn mind. I mean, even if he was somehow able to hypnotize Xander and Philip into getting back his job, he really thinks that Victor's just going to let him back into his... Okay. So while he's just on this delusional train and bragging like the... Ava's like, yo, listen, I'm going to testify against you. You know, you still told me this, that, and the third. And of course, you know, Charlie's shrugging it off like, oh, well, you're delusional, you're on drugs, you have history, and, you know. And then he starts with his whole mommy issues. And let's just be very clear about this. Ava was a terrible mother to him. Okay? That doesn't excuse what he did. I'm just saying that she was a real terrible mother to him. And even when she did try to act like she was, you know, before she found out about the whole, you know, whatever, she still seemed like she was pretty cold and distant to him. And that's, I don't know, I was just so wrong, just so off with a watch. Still talking and stuff like that, and at some point, you know, Charlie's like, oh, so you really think you're going to testify against me? I mean, that requires you, you know, getting out of this hospital and being alive. And I can't have that. I mean, that's standing away from my happiness that he somehow thinks he's still going to have. So he proceeds to try to choke her. Nicole and Rafe comes in. Rafe's like, so, did I miss anything? Charlie leaves in just the most creepiest way possible. Jesus Christ. He's like, oh, you know, get better. I can't wait till you get home and out the hospital. And Nicole was like, oh, well, he's still not safe to be around. He's kind of dangerous. And, Ava's like, well, I can't really come with you. I can't come back to your house with you and, Nicole, Allie and the baby. And Nicole's like, nah, that's cool. You can stay with Rafe. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Even Rafe was like, and by the way, me not being a fashion expert at all, but I feel like I gotta be a little petty. What the hell is going on with Nicole and that lipstick? Listen, I don't normally notice stuff like that, but when something's just that out of place, the hair was fine, but like the lipstick was just like, this is just not working for you. You should try another shade. Any shade. Earlier Nicole was sitting there fuming and upset. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, she kind of started going off about something that I wasn't particularly too happy about. Listen, no one is a fan of the RAP. No one that actually has any decency in them. But when she started talking, she was like, well, boys would be boys and men would be men, and, when a girl says no, and, listen, we all get that. You're kind of preaching to the choir, but the whole boys would be boys thing, even Rafe was like, sweetheart, you acting like I'm condoning this. Now, I get it. Nicole was emotional. She was upset that Charlie was getting off. But don't start throwing the whole boys will be boys thing, because real men, there's no place for that. And real women also, because last time I checked, I'm pretty sure Ava did, that with Steve, but whatever. But yeah, they talk for a little bit, and pretty much the only thing that's really relevant that I can think of is that, Rafe was like, listen, you need to be the one to tell. I think it would be better coming from you telling Allie that, they're not going to get him on the charges of, because of the London police and the whole jurisdiction thing, and, I think they both agreed to kind of tell her together or something. I'm not going to lie, I don't remember at that point. What else? Oh, in the last scene, Kate is a very interesting woman. Now, Kate, I'm not gonna lie, kind of started acting like a bit of a Karen with the whole trip situation, but I understood that there was bad blood even before the whole Allie thing. Still think she owes him an apology and probably a gift card, but whatever. But she's an interesting character. 'Cause there's times like that I'm just like, seriously? And then there's times when in this episode where I'm just like, hey, you impressed me. I don't know how the hell you managed to do it, but you did it. So, Kate and Jake are trying to interrogate Vivian, and they're not getting anywhere. And, at some point, Kate mentions something about Phyllis and something that has to do with a baby being taken out of her. A lot of backstory that I'm not really too familiar with, but something happened as far as the baby being taken out of her and whatever, and then she just gets really emotional, gets really upset, and she's about to lunge at Vivian. Jake is like, you need to cool off, and they re-strategize. Something along the lines of, Vivian will only snap out of it if she thinks your life is in jeopardy or whatever. Jake is like, so what are you gonna put a gun in my head? And Kate's like, no, I got a better idea. So you go back in the room. Vivian says something that I don't think that I'm gonna ever forget. At least for a couple of days. Even Jake was like, wow, that's pretty gross. And that's when Kate's like, so by the way, just let you know, I found a new man, and Vivian's like, so I guess you've been trolling the nursing homes lately. I was like, damn. Kate was like, no, I found a younger man, and he's at his peak, his prime, and well, it's him. So he started making out or whatever, and that's when Vivian is like, you bitch, and this, that, and the third, and Kate's like, well, gotcha. Blew her whole insanity, whole insanity plea out the window. So, yeah. Kate is a very interesting woman. I didn't know that she's been on that show for that long. If that flashback of her and the whole fishing thing was like actually her, man, how long has this show been? I guess it's like 50-something years, 55 or something like that years. Damn. But yeah, she impressed me today. I guess we'll just have to count the weeks to see if she's going to disappoint me. But for now, she impressed me. I think that's about it. I don't know if I actually missed anything. Nope, I don't think I missed anything. So yes, with that being said, I hope everyone has a great weekend. I want to thank everyone for the positive feedback as far as, the whole politics and everything like that. Thank you, because I do try to do everything I can to always try to make my review better, to make, have people enjoy it, because I always feel, again, I always look at it this way. If people are going to sit there and take their time to sit there and watch my review, then I'm going to take my time to make sure it's the best review that I can possibly make, because I enjoy doing this. And it's funny, I was at work and I was telling them about my YouTube channel, and I was like, I kind of accidentally, got into it. If you see my first review, I was swearing like a sailor, and then I felt better, and I was like, I feel like doing this again. And that was partly due to Brock TV. It was actually pretty interesting seeing another male not only talk about soap operas and be knowledgeable of soap operas, but just being like, yo, listen, this is a great show, I enjoy watching it, and it's not just for, women. And I've always felt like that for a while, but when I sat there and tried to look out soap opera reviews, I was surprised to sit there and find him. I usually sit there and think I'll find a woman doing it. So I was like, you know what, this is interesting. And somewhere along the lines, I was like, let me do it. So here I am. And I enjoy doing it. And every now and then I'll sit there and ask people to share my videos, because that definitely does help. But yes, I want to thank everyone for the positive comments, and even in the future, I'll still try to keep the politics out of it, because, some people like certain candidates, other people don't. I'm kind of just like, whatever about it, but, I always try to do my best to, make sure people enjoy my reviews. So thank every single person watching, commenting, being supportive, not just of the political stuff, but just in general. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Hope everyone has a great Valentine's Day. Side question. Anyone ever actually start talking to someone, and after the second or maybe third conversation, the red flags are just up, and you're just like, you know what? I'm good, but you know what? Thanks. Yeah. That happened. So, yeah. So, I'm probably going to be at work, watching a whole bunch of other people enjoy their Valentine's Day. But you know what? Here's the thing. Trying to sit there and think what I was going to say. So, yeah, here's the thing. So, red flags and all, I was just like, you know what? I'm good. Because I'd rather be with someone because I want to be with someone, and not because, I just feel like I need to be with someone. But that's just me. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rant. I hope everyone has a great day, a great Valentine's Day. Be safe. Not just Valentine's Day, just in general. And hopefully this whole ordeal with interruptions will be over with at some point, and we can just get back to normal. And, you know, enjoy life. And fantasies and soap operas and all that good stuff. Be well. Take care. I will see everyone in the next review.